Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be setting up this Archer and Olive traveler size notebook as my bullet journal for 2022. This year I've decided to focus on working through my sticker stash, and that includes using some of these sticker samplers that I received over the years through my sticker orders. This sampler is from the Primrose Planner, and I've been waiting to use it in an extra special spread. I've decided to stay in this gray, beige, brown color palette for this setup. I'm using this next page to write my word of the year. First, I'm going to sketch it out in pencil, and then I will go over it in my beige brush pen. As you can see, my word of the year is intentional, and that is going to tie in with all of my 2022 goals. Besides having a word of the year this year, I also have a motto. My motto is, I do hard things. This is what I tell myself when I'm in the middle of a challenge or when I'm working toward developing some of the systems that I'm going to be focusing on 2020. I'm finding that if I remind myself that this is just part of what I do hard things, it helps to keep me motivated as I move forward. I filled up the rest of the page with some additional words of inspiration. Truth be told, workhorse and finish were some of the alternatives for my word of the year for 2022 before I settled on intentional. But here I'm just reminding myself that I've decided to be a workhorse through 2022 and that you can't finish without making forward progress. I'm adding a standard bullet journal index. For my future log, I'm going to be using some of these free printable calendars that I got from the Coffee Monsters Co. Facebook page. I'm placing a calendar on the top left-hand corner of each page, and that will be my future log for each of the months moving forward. This next year is going to be heavily focused on meeting specific goals as I move through the year. So my next spreads focus on essential goals for quarter 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. I've done a pretty simple setup. I've left 2 lines for each of the 13 weeks in each quarter in the bottom half of the page, and on the top half of the page, I just wrote in Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 for each of the quarters. I left each of these pages with very little structure because I'd like to see how my goal planning goes for quarter 1 before I move on to quarter 2. I want to refine my strategy and learn as I go, so I left these really open or as free form as possible so that I can use them as I need moving through 2022. Next, I'm doing 2 yearly overviews, and I got this idea from another YouTuber. I'm going to leave her video down below in the description box, but she had a running yearly list of the last time that she did certain things. So when was the last time that she got an oil change, changed a filter, all of these adulting type things that happen fairly irregularly, but you do want to keep track of them. The way that this calendar works is you would write down the task on the left-hand column, and then you'd actually write the date in which you completed that task. So if you do item 1 or task 1 January 5th, then you would write a number 5 under the January or the J there on that first column for the first month of the year. On the opposite side, I'm doing a similar setup where I am also interested in how frequently I purchase certain items, and this is going to tie into a 2022 goal I have about automating some of my purchases and some of my systems. So I want to know, how frequently do I go through face moisturizer? How frequently do we go through a large tub of laundry detergent? That's going to help me gather the data that I need to set up some automated systems within my home. Next up is 2 pages for financial planning, but I am going to return back to that at a later date because I still need to finish up some conversations with my husband about our yearly financial goals as well as update our long-term financial goals. So stay tuned for that video in a few days. In the following 2-page spread, I am writing a year-long tracker, and I'd like to track 2 things. The first thing I'm going to track is how many date nights I have with my husband. I would like to have at least 3, optimally 4 date nights with my husband each month. So this is a way of tracking that on a yearly basis to see how we are prioritizing our relationship. And on the right-hand side, I'd like to track my menstrual cycle, so it's a period tracker. I find that for some things, it's hard for me to track them electronically, so even though I have several period trackers, I don't update them as frequently as I would like, and if I'm coming back to this sheet daily, this is a good place where I can document that. My final spread is a YouTube tracker. I do track the progress of YouTube videos that I am developing in a Notion spread that I'll be sharing this month as well. Even though I'm really happy with how I have my Notion set up to support my YouTube video development, this is another area in my life where I still prefer to have a pen and paper list somewhere. Finally, I have an ideas page, since a lot of my YouTube related ideas come to me as I'm working in my bullet journal. And here is my completed flip through of my 2022 bullet journal setup. This setup is a lot more minimal than my bullet journals in the past, and that's for several reasons. First, I only anticipate that I'll be using this bullet journal for about 6 months. My family and I are getting ready for a big move, and I know that I'll want a fresh start with a new bullet journal this summer. Secondly, this year I am going to be bullet journaling as part of a larger planner system, so I don't need so many different sections in the front of my bullet journal this year. Lastly, this simplified setup is consistent with how I'm approaching 2022. Thanks for watching, and until next time, make plans and prepare to modify.